to Ask Snes. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all having a good week so far. It's Friday, so always good. End of the week. Really nice and sunny. Beautiful weather. Yeah, it's surprising actually. The weather's changed quite a lot at the moment. It's getting a little bit warmer. It's bright and sunny, and it's all good. Right, so let's get into the questions. And the first set of questions from Chris Passy. Thank you, Chris. Whose first question is. Right, so first of all, he just said, it's crazy to think that Ask Snes is almost a year old. Yeah, to be fair, mate, it is. I never even realised that. Yeah, it's episode 48, so we're only 4 episodes away. Bloody hell. Yeah, I can't believe it's been a year. It's gone really fast. I'm more impressed with the fact that this series of videos have lasted as long as it has. Right, so first question. What is your favourite video game sound? For me, it's the initial startup of the original PlayStation. Mine's not really a software sound, it's more of a hardware sound, and it's the sound of the Amiga disk drive. That sound when you get the 3.5-inch floppy and you slide it in and the plastic pops out and that little snap noise it makes. I love that noise. It's just ultimate nostalgia when I hear that. It's just amazing. But the PlayStation startup, mate, great choice. One of the best startups ever. Love that. It's one thing that's missing nowadays. I don't have good startups on consoles anymore. Do you have a favourite guitar riff within your eclectic taste in music even? Not really, I'll be honest with you. I'm more of a drum guy. I love lead guitar and solos and that are cool, but for me it's about the drums. There's just something about an amazing drummer when they're just on that rhythm and they just bring all the whole band together and it just rides and it's just a pinnacle. It's up there, man. It just takes you. Like Joey Jordison, phenomenal drummer. When I got to see Slipknot live, I was just like, wow. Yeah, so I would probably say anything that Joey Jordison has done is probably the best drumming I've ever heard. But as I say, guitars, I love them, but I'm definitely a drum guy. You've managed to sneak into one of President Obama's speeches and have 10 seconds to address the world. What do you say in those 10 seconds? Stop hating each other. Love each other more, be good to each other, or be excellent to each other. But generally, just be nice and be friendly to people and use common courtesy. Just the basics cost nothing. Please, thank you, hello, how are you? Hold the door open for somebody. Just the general niceties that need to be brought back into society that are missing. Please do those and just be good to people around you. You treat people right, they'll treat you right. It's as simple as that. Yes, there are bad people in the world, but just treat people well. And stop fighting over pointless bullshit. That's probably the 10-second one. Yes, that'll be the thing that'll be on the news anyway. Stop fighting over pointless bullshit. Right, cheers, Chris. Okay, next set of questions from Keith Hewitt, so get comfortable. So, first question from Keith. You're a great fella. Thank you very much, mate. Amazed every week how you come up with answers quickly to my questions. Bravo. You're not the only one there. Have you ever had to answer difficult questions quickly as part of a job? It appears so. Not really. I mean, more interviews than anything. I mean, I work in admin, so it's nothing particularly amazing, but I tend to be quite good at thinking on my feet and coming up with answers. I don't know how, I just seem to do it. I think that's the only way, really. Yeah, I've never really had a job where I've had to just come up with stuff like that. I don't know, maybe I'm just a good bullshitter, I don't know. It could be that. In number 46, you said you'd thought about buying a dog, but then said no. I can genuinely see you introducing us to your new pet dog soon. What do you think? Well, yeah, as you say never. Possibility. I just think it's too much responsibility, especially at this moment in life. In the future, you never know. It'd have to be a little dog though. I can't be having like some big staffy or something. It's got to be something manageable. Have you ever heard of the YouTuber Adam Kowalik? I have, because Ben Chen Muzo is a good friend of his. His videos are very down to earth and extremely interesting, particularly his videos about the 4th and 6th gen. I nearly swore, I really can't stand, no disrespect Keith, I just hate this numbering of generations that suddenly become a thing now. Instead of like having 8-bit and 16-bit and 32-bit, all of a sudden we're calling them 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, 5th, 7th and 8th generation. I hate that, it's so bullshit, it's just dumb. Anyway, you'd like him as he's very much in your style of videos, and the stuff he says is so detailed, not largely known. I've watched a couple of his videos and yeah, he's absolutely sound. And as I say, he's been on Shane Muso's channel and he's a really nice bloke. Have you ever been mistaken for FPS Duck. I've got no idea who that is, so I'll have to find out. I don't think I want to know now. In fact, I'll just have a look. I'm going to regret this, aren't I? Assuming my internet works okay. Okay, I think I can see your point there. Okay, I can't have the sound up for copyright issues, but anyway, right. Next one. When was the last time you were recognised in the street? I've only been recognised once, so that's not too bad, and that was years ago, and that was at the game store in town, MT Games. So that was about 2010, I think. Might have been 2009, I can't remember. There was a video on YouTube where I actually mentioned it, but it's a long time ago. Okay, last week you said the following phrases. You can always buy another, hang on, scroll up, you can always buy another walrus. And also, I'd probably get Stevie Wonder to cook for me and Paul Gascoigne to clean my room. But you never thought you were saying those. Well, no, Keith, but you do surprise me with your questions every week, to be honest. The other night I dreamt I was in a GTA game with my brother-in-law. Oh, gone too far. His kids and my wife. We just cruised around. Ever dreamt of being in the video game? Not that I can remember, no. I don't think I'd want to cruise around GTA. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it'd be a bit bloody dangerous. Okay, in the 90s, I always considered Mario to be a more intelligent gamer than Sonic. What do you think? Yeah, in the 90s, I mean, if you mean like the Mario himself, he's a plumber. But I mean, if you mean the actual game itself, then yeah. I was always more of a fan of the Mario games. Obviously, I had a Super Nintendo. Never really understood the whole Sonic thing. For me at the time, I didn't realise you could actually play it as a platformer, because it was sold on the speed of the machine and making the game go as fast as possible. And it just seemed pointless to me. You just run from one side of the screen to the other collecting rings. Whereas Mario, there's a lot more to do. So yeah, but nowadays, obviously, I'm a bit more open to Sonic and I enjoy it a lot more. And now I understand that you can play it as a standard platformer. It's a better game. I enjoy it, but it's still a lot better than Mario. Mario's still the king. You're decorating the pot of paint is teetering above your old Wii U when you first got it as the launch one. Okay. Or a delicious plate of meatballs in a tangy tomato sauce. Which do you push it towards? Wii U. Yeah, screw the Wii U. Who would be a better baddie in a video game? Paul Gascoigne, Stevie Wonder, or Pingu? Right, if you're playing Mario 64, Pingu. But Paul Gascoigne, why not? Paul Gascoigne would make an interesting villain, yeah. Not quite sure what he'd do, but it'd be quite interesting. If you were forced to change your name to something video game related, what would you pick? Jesus. Naughty Dog, Mr. Naughty Dog. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll trademark that one. Oh my god. Okay, what animal is most associated with video games? I think the hedgehog. Yeah, for the mainstream people who don't play games, definitely. I think that's, yeah, the hedgehog's probably the most associated character, animal character at least. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, because there's been a few different animals they've tried, but Sonic obviously is like massive. After you've read the following word, please say whatever word or phrase comes into your head without pausing for thought. TurboGrafx, PC Engine, because that's the proper name for it. Rewriting history now. The Wii U came out instead of the Wii all those years ago, 2007 I think. I'm not sure, was it 2006? I think it was 2006, but I always get a little confused with the dates now. It might be 2007, I don't know. How would it have fared? I think it was 2006, wasn't it? Because 2007 was when the PS3 came out in the UK. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. How would it have fared? So the Wii U would have been going up against the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 and would have been a little bit more powerful than those two. I mean, I still think, to be fair, it wouldn't have fared that well because they haven't supported it properly. They've been very lazy with the software. They just haven't pushed the software enough. And only now are they starting to do it. That's Nintendo's problem. They need to get the software. And they're not alone before anyone jumps on me, because Sony and Microsoft were nearly 2 years into the Xbox One and the PS4 and the software is still a bit quiet. So all of them need to do better, really. But yeah, I don't honestly think back then the Wii U could have competed. You know, look, the Xbox 360 had 2 years at that point in 2007, and the Xbox 360 was flying, man. It had some really great games right from launch. So yeah, I don't think it would have competed at all. The PS3 was awesome. Okay, you misinterpreted my question last week about the F-Zero and what does F-Zero and C hybrid? Okay, I don't know if that's a misspell. I basically meant a futuristic GTA set in a futuristic F-Zero futuristic city. I would get you right. Okay, would that be a good idea? Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, taking GTA into the future is probably something they're going to have to do at some point, because they're kind of stuck at the moment. GTA 5 bored the hell out of me, and it just felt a bit like they've run out of ideas. So I'm hoping they're going to try and do something a little bit different. You have to be careful, because when they go futuristic, they tend to do a bit like Saints Row, give it superpowers and things, and that's not what the games need. But yeah, I mean, they could definitely do a futuristic city quite easily. Have I ever been to the Isle of Wight? Once when I was a kid. To be quite honest, I don't remember much about it. I know it was nice, but that's about it really. What is the best retro gaming physical shop in Weston? There is only the one, and that's MT Games. There is one I came across a while ago, a couple of months back, down a side street. I don't know if he's still there or not, but MT Games is the big one. Did you ever anticipate getting this many subs? Not in a million years. I never even thought I'd get 50 or even 10. I mean, you just don't know when you first start putting videos up. You know, you've got no idea if anyone's going to even like what you're doing and want to subscribe. I mean, that's the thing. People can watch you. It doesn't mean they're going to hit that subscribe button. That really is the big thumbs up. That's the I really like what you're doing, and I want to see more. So I think, you know, the subscribe thing is really helpful in that respect, because it shows that people do have an interest in what you're doing. And yeah, I would have never in a million years thought I'd have got to this level of subscribers. It's just ridiculous. It blows my mind that people are still subscribing. And talking of subscribers, last week I was absolutely shocked. I don't know what happened, but in 24 hours I got nearly 40 subscribers. That never happens. In comparison, I'm lucky if I get 5 a week, and that's on a good week. So I don't know what happened. I assume someone gave me a shout out. I did put a tweet out, but no one got back to me, so I don't know. If anyone knows, if anyone subscribed to me last week and someone gave a shout out and that's why you come over to my channel, thank you first of all for subscribing, but please let me know who it was that shouted me out, because I don't know. And I want to thank that person, because I had such a massive increase in subscribers and views. My views went through the roof. I had like nearly 7,000 views in one day. That just doesn't happen. I don't know what went on there. It was really weird. Everything just went crazy. So yeah, I really am grateful to everyone who subscribed to my channel, and especially people who stick around and, you know, want to watch me long term, because, you know, I know how it goes as a watcher. There are times you watch people and you get to a point you just stop for whatever reason. It's not vindictive or anything. You miss one video, then you miss 2 videos. Next thing you know, you haven't watched 10 videos, and then you think, well, I might as well just unsubscribe now because there's no point in watching anymore. Not that you dislike the person anyway. You might like the person on a personal level. You're just not getting around to watching their content, so you just think, well, you know, or they're putting up videos that just aren't to your taste. So it is a difficult balancing act to try and get content that's going to satisfy the majority. You can't satisfy everybody, obviously, but that's why I try and diversify and have a mixture of videos on my channel. I know that some videos, like the vinyl videos, do not go down very well with a lot of people, and they feel the need to just thumb down the video for no reason whatsoever, instead of just doing the logical, adult, mature thing and not watching the video. Right, that went off on a tangent. Right, next one. Oh, Jesus Christ, where am I? Okay, LFC Gamer's compliment to my Stevie Wonder Pingu Gascoigne questions is nice of him to say. I didn't say that, but good on him. What is your favourite type of question? Perhaps an open-ended one or something else? Anything. My favourite type of question. I like random questions because it keeps you on your toes. You don't know what to expect, especially with you, Keith, because I'll read your questions. I'm like, I don't know where you even thought of that one, mate, and it'll just really knock me for 6, and it tests me to see whether I can actually answer it or not. And I love questions about the modern gaming as well. As much as I love the retro, I like to have questions about what's happening in the industry to try and give my opinion if I can. Yeah, so those things really, but yeah, I do like random questions. You're decorating, the pot of paint is teetering above a huge wildebeest stealing turnips. Did he eat turnips? Okay. And wicker baskets from a little old lady or a pile of £50 notes, each signed by Reggie from Nintendo. Which do you push it towards? Well, I wouldn't have the £50 notes because, to be quite honest, £50 notes are a waste of time because you can't really cash them because people think they're fake. And especially if they've got someone squiggle on them and people ain't going to know who Reggie is. And we've got a little old lady and we've got the wildebeest. So I'm afraid I'll probably have to dump it on the £50 notes and save the old lady and the wildebeest. Yeah, that's probably the best one. As I said before, in my opinion, turnip is the most comedic vegetable name. Can you name a more comedic name of any food? Aubergine? That's the best I can come up with. It's a bit of a weird one. Okay, likewise to yourself, I love physical media and hardware with video games. Kids born in 2015 may have never experienced physical media in their games. Think about that one. Agree? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the way it is now, isn't it? I mean, the internet generation, it's perfectly normal for them to just download everything and just, that's the way society is. I don't like it and I'll never really get into it. I mean, it's different with different formats as well. I wouldn't do it with films. I'll stream a film to watch it, and then if I like it, I'll go and buy it on a physical format, Blu-ray or whatever available. Games, I don't want them on digital because I've made my opinion on that, clear. I just think it's pointless, and I'd much rather have physical media. Music is a bit of a mixture as well, just like films, where I can have digital music from when I'm exercising or I'm doing the housework and everything, because I haven't got to keep getting up and changing the record. But when I actually want to truly listen to music, I've got my vinyl, so I can just sit down, chill out, put a record on, and just absorb it. So it's a nice balance, and that's what gaming needs. It needs the balance. They don't need to just go fully digital. They need to have that balance of digital and physical. And at the moment we have that, but the digital is a rip-off, and they're scamming people left, right and centre with ridiculous DLC and insanely high prices for full games. I mean, when a digital copy is more expensive than a physical copy, there's something wrong. It's just ridiculous. Which is your favourite celebrity chef? Mine is a bloke I've never heard of called Gennaro Contaldo. Is that? I don't know. Still Gordon Ramsay for me. Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver, love those guys. I think they're fantastic. Two totally different styles. Ramsay's just the man. I love Gordon Ramsay, he's brilliant. And I just like Jamie Oliver's approach, and I like his healthy eating. Is there anybody else that I watch? Oh yeah, Paul Hollywood as well. I like a bit of bacon. So my mum likes the Bake Off, so I got into the Bake Off, and I really like it. And Paul Hollywood is really good. He makes some amazing food. Time travel has been made possible, and they enlist what to suggest a video game that best sums up the year 2015. Which do you choose? Well, we're only April now, so it's going to be a bit difficult. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say The Rise of Tomb Raider. I've got a feeling it's going to be a quality game, so I'm going to take that one. You're playing a video game with 4 other YouTubers. Choose one person for the following profiles. These are the questions I have trouble with. Okay, someone sitting calmly and contrived. Jay, Cybersnake7. Someone button mashing and about to throw the controller at the screen. Daz Cajonas de Loro. They're asleep after drinking too much sherry. That's also Daz, but we're going to pick someone else. Probably, yeah, we'll go with Stu. Tootie, thank you. Please just brain freeze. Tootie UK. They don't look like any effort is being put into playing. That's Retro Dave Nintendo. I heard recently that Dave's a bit of a beast, so yeah, I'll go with that one. For years I've been very curious about the following question. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, what was considered as retro gaming? Appreciate a detailed answer, as I'm very curious. A detailed answer, okay, from your manifesto as well. Right, so in the late 90s and early 2000s, well, I mean, I didn't start collecting until 03, 04, so I was a few years into the 2000s. And at that stage, to me, retro was anything from the 90s, you know, whether it be Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, PlayStation, N64, Saturn. Although, to be fair, I don't think I was actually that aware of the Saturn at that point. I know I did get a Japanese Saturn at some point, but I think that was a bit further down the line. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what kind of detail you want for this, Keith. Yeah, I mean, to me, anything 90s and below obviously was retro at that point. in the the early 2000s, because I'm just trying to think. It was 2000 when the PS2 came out, 2001 when the Xbox came out, if I remember rightly. So they were the current gen. So yeah, just go with it. I don't really know what. Expand on that. Let me know what you was actually aiming for there, because I think I've missed a point or something there. Do you like the Roberts Radio vintage style? I have absolutely no idea what that is, mate, so I don't know, to be honest. I love citrus fruit, but are limes close to your heart? I've never been too keen. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever tried a lime. That's not very good, is it? So I don't know. Do you like the TV programme Dragon's Den? I don't like that Peter Jones fella. Yeah, my namesake. I used to like Dragon's Den a long time ago, and I stopped watching it after a while. I'm trying to think when I stopped watching it. It was around about the time when Hilary Devey started on there. I mean, she's cool, I like her and everything, but I don't know, I kind of started losing a little bit of interest in the show, to the shame. Because it used to be really good. I mean, Duncan was always a miserable bastard. Theo was always entertaining. Yeah. But I used to like it, it was good. I don't know, it's one of those shows that I sort of stopped watching and never really got back into again. What is your professional opinion on the forthcoming general election? Professional opinion, yeah, like I'm running for Parliament. You seem so clued up on politics, whereas I'm rubbish at it. I wouldn't say I'm clued up, to be honest with you, Keith. I know very little compared to someone like Shen Muso, but I know the general gist of what's going on and what people stand for and what's happened, to this point. And so I think I need to know a little bit, just so I'm not just blind voting for anybody. And anyone can learn that. It's not difficult. I mean, it's not like I go online and read the manifestos and all that kind of thing. I just watch the TV. I watch the debates. I look at the impact it's had on people on the news, people around me, family, friends, and all that kind of thing. And that's all you can do, really. I mean, you can if you want to. The manifestos have just come out, so you can get the manifesto and you can read it all and go really deep into what they actually stand for. But I honestly think that would make it really difficult to choose a party to vote for them, because there's always going to be things that you don't agree with. There are things that the Conservatives don't agree, are proposing that I disagree with, like fox hunting for one. I'm totally against them on that one. But it isn't going to stop me voting for them, because there are a lot of other things that I do agree with, which to me are more important. Fox hunting is disgraceful and unnecessary and disgusting, but the economy is more important to me. So you've got to balance it out really and just make a decision. And the way I see it, I mean, at the end of the day, Labour had 13 years and they fucked this country up good and proper, and they do not deserve another chance at this point. They've got a lot to do to prove themselves to me, as far as I'm concerned. Plus they need a better leader. Their leader is crap. Ed Miliband, nice bloke, not a leader of a country, absolutely not a prime minister. Chuka Umaga should be the leader of the Labour Party. That's who that should be using. He's very photogenic, extremely well spoken, brilliant public speaker, gets his point across, doesn't bullshit too much and dodge too many questions. Absolutely brilliant. If they put him as the leader, then they would have had a chance. Likewise David Miliband as well, but that was never going to happen. So my opinion on the forthcoming general election so far, the debates have been interesting, better than I expected, to be honest, because I did expect it to just be a load of sound bites. I didn't think they'd actually have a free-for-all. That one debate with the 8 of them, that was just crazy, man. Was it Julie Etchingham? I think that's her name on ITV. She was crap. She couldn't control them. They were just all over each other, and it was quite funny. For me personally, I felt that David Cameron, Nicola Sturgeon came out the best that night. Nicola Sturgeon in particular, which was really surprising. I didn't think she'd be that good, but she was phenomenal, which was quite depressing. I've always said for this election so far that I was going to vote Conservative. That is, to me personally, at the moment, the way the country is with the economy and everything, I want to make sure I make a safe vote. And for me personally, that's what I think is the safe vote. I don't trust Labour as far as I can throw them. The Liberals are down in 4th place, so they're even more irrelevant than ever. And I want to make sure that UKIP are kept out. The worrying thing is obviously that if we have a coalition, that it is looking like a UKIP Conservative coalition, which I really, really hope doesn't happen, because that would be one of the worst things that could happen for the country. Not as bad as Labour and SNP, mind, but coalitions are just going to screw it for not. What I would prefer, if we're going to have anything, would be Conservative and Liberals back together again and just carry on. But we're waiting to see. I'll be honest though, the weirdest thing happened to me the other week. Ben Shen Muso, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you are, Ben, he always is, to me, very liberal, very left-wing, very much a student, And he's very intelligent, knows his stuff, and we have a good laugh about this and a good debate back and forth. And I can be a little bit to the right, not completely, but I know I'm a bit right of centre. He makes really good points to me, and that's what I like. I can have a good discussion with him. He's not just arguing with me, we can have a back and forth. And he's always gone on about a lot of things that are, like Trident and dismantling the nuclear deterrent, dismantling the army because we don't need them. And I've always gone, no, I've always had that typical attitude of, no, we need to have the nuclear threat. It has to be there because of all the rogue countries around the world, and we need to have that as a deterrent. More recently, my mind is starting to change, and it's a bit weird. I didn't expect it. And the reason being, this is going to be the weirdest reason ever. There was a programme on TV recently with Dara O'Brien and Ed Byrne, and they were travelling around South America. I can't remember what it was called, but it's on BBC, on BBC Two, so you can get it on the iPlayer. And you probably get it on YouTube as well, on the BBC World Service if you're not in the UK. Really interesting programme. They travel around South America, and obviously there are a lot of dangerous countries in South America, like Nicaragua, etc. And they went to this one country, which for some reason keeps escaping my mind as to what the name of the country was. And it was slap bang in the middle of South America, surrounded by all these lunatic countries. And it absolutely blew my mind. They were self-sufficient, they didn't have an army, they didn't have nuclear deterrents, and they were not under threat from anyone. They were getting on with it. And it just made me stop and think about the Greens. And as much as at the moment we can't go that way because we have to think about the economy and the country, and we have to try and make sure the country's stable. But in 5 years' time, I might vote for the Greens, because I've got to be honest, I think wind farms are the future. I've said that for a while. I've never seen it on video, but with friends and family, I always think wind farms are a good idea. And I honestly do think that we could be, if we got this country under control again, and we resolved all the issues we've got, we can have a self-sufficient country where we have the wind farms for our electricity, we don't have nuclear power, we don't have the nuclear deterrent because we don't really need it. And when you look at the world today, who are we going to nuke? We're not. It's just not going to happen. The army is an interesting one because obviously you can cut the army down and have reservists instead. I'm not entirely 100% certain whether that's a good idea or not. I'd have to look into that a bit more. But I do think that we could become a self-sufficient island and we wouldn't be under threat. We just need to make more smart decisions. So Ben, you're actually starting to make some headway, mate. You're breaking through. Bloody hell. Okay, so that went on for a bit long, didn't it? Right, next question. Sorry about going overboard on this type of question, but you're in a room with these people. One is great at high fives, one is great at giving advice on pet insurance. What pet insurance? The other is great at seeing potential ideas for your games room. Stevie Wonder, Pinker and Paul Gascoigne. Right, how can you go from political discussion to that? Pretty much sums the whole election up there. Okay, so one is great at high fives, Stevie Wonder. One is great at giving advice on pet insurance, and the other one's giving me ideas for my game room. Well, I think it's pretty straightforward. If Stevie Wonder gives high fives, Pingu does the pet insurance, and Paul Gascoigne can give me potential ideas on where to put the bar. That's the most. I really wish I built up a retro collection about 5 to 10 years ago, because I remember seeing Super Nintendo cartridges for £3 to £4. Do you have any similar regrets? Yes, absolutely, selling all my stuff. Me and Retro Dave were talking about this yesterday. When I lived in Birmingham and I was, I had a regular income, I had a lot of money coming in, I was doing really well, and I was just buying shit constantly. Games, consoles, everything. Every time I come home from work, there'd be new packages, there'd be cards for the door from the postman. I'd be buying everything and anything. And I was getting some great deals. Neo Geo games for a fact. Neo Geo games were really easy to come by and weren't that expensive at all, and a lot more obtainable. And I wish I'd just done that at the time. I wish I'd gone, you know what, I'm going to get a load of AES games now. But you can't tell the future. You just live in the moment and do what you do. And you can have regrets, but what's the point? We can all look back and have regrets. I have loads, but then I think, well, why? It is what it is. You've got to look to the future, and you've got to live for today, and take every day as it comes. That's the only way you're going to survive. Don't have to get serious sometimes, yeah. As you know, I'm starting to collect slowly for the GameCube and also the PlayStation 2. I think that generation of consoles is a sweet spot at the moment, where the games are plentiful and cheap, definitely. So I'm trying to get the games I want for those systems before the prices rise. Do you agree? Absolutely, mate. I mean, PlayStation 2, Xbox and GameCube, fantastic play. If you're doing it on a budget and you don't want to spend loads of cash, they're the best place to start. PlayStation 1 as well. Saturn, not so much. It's a bit of a mixed bag. But generally, yeah, they're really cheap and easy to come by. You can go to car boots, you can go to shops, you can get charity shops. There's, you know, I mean, even the eBay and that, they're a little bit more pricey, but they're not that much. You can go to that'sentertainment.co.uk and get a shitload of games for like £2 a pop. So yeah, it's definitely a good way to go. Okay, do you know much about local history? Mine began by the Romans, naming it Hampton? Hampton. Yeah, Hampton. Local history in the southwest, I don't, mate. I don't know much about it at all. Probably something I should really look up on. I do like history, so that is, yeah, definitely something to look at. I'm looking forward to the Mario Maker Wii U game. Seems like a great way of Nintendo doing research, as they could look at the levels people submit online and analyse it. More of a statement than a question, but yeah, absolutely. I think the Mario Maker's got a lot of potential. It'd be really, really fun for families and friends as well, and yeah, and a few beers and just creating ridiculous levels. It's got a lot of potential, and it could grow and grow, as you say. It's got that kind of Minecraft ability in a way, I think, so that'll be interesting. Would Pingu be a reliable friend during a crisis? Not really, it's a penguin. An animated penguin at that, so probably not. If you can meet any video game character or person and have a good chat with them, who would you pick? I'd choose Tanner from Driver or Super Mario. Interesting choice with Tanner. It's going to be Nathan Drake, because he's just cool. Yeah, as I've said many a time, Nathan Drake, you can go on amazing adventures and have so much fun, and he'd have so many stories to tell. Yeah, definitely Nathan Drake. Or Sully, because I love Sully. Apparently the old team who ran Rare back in the day are currently working on a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. Have you heard of it? I hadn't, mate, to be honest with you. So is that the original team that are not with Microsoft? Because Microsoft's got Rare, but that's not Rare, is it? That's just Rare only by name. So I assume these are the people who used to be at Rare, and now he's put in brackets Rareware, so I assume that's what that means. No, I hadn't heard that, mate, to be honest. At least not as far as I'm aware, anyway. Hang on, no, I did hear it. I'm just trying to think. I did hear it, right? Because Colin Moriarty, I'm sure it was him, mentioned it on Kind of Funny Games a couple of weeks back. That's right, because they were talking about it and they mentioned about that Nuts and Bolts game that came out on the 360, which is apparently crap. So yeah, so that's all I've heard. I've just heard it exists, but I don't know anything more. But that'd be interesting. I mean, is that going to be a Kickstarter, or is that going to be a legit, straight up, they're going to fund it? I mean, have they got a publisher? That'd be interesting. The old Rare team getting back together has scope for so much potential. Imagine spiritual successors to GoldenEye, Diddy Kong, etc. Of course, and a Perfect Dark game that was actually good, because Perfect Dark Zero was pretty terrible. So yeah, that would be fantastic, mate. I mean, yeah, a new Conker game I'd like more than anything. That'd be amazing. Have you ever played a game, then left it for so long that you forgot what happened and need to start again? Not really. I've had many a time, like with all media, I'll forget. But as soon as I turn it on, my brain just goes click and I remember it all again. It's really weird. If I've gone a week or so and I've totally forgot what was going on, it just suddenly clicks back into place. I don't know why. Have you ever read a book and then left it for so long that you forgot what happened and need to start again? Not that I can remember. Generally, if I read a book, I tend to just power through it in like a week or something, because I don't want to get to that stage where because if I left it for too long, I just wouldn't get back to it. It'd just sit on the shelf. I was reading a book years ago about Blackwater, the private military contractor. Really interesting stuff. And I got about halfway through the book. It was like that. It was massive. And I just got bored, and I was like, I just can't be arsed. And I never went back to it. And I think it's still got the piece of paper where I marked my spot. But yeah, that was some heavy reading. Have you ever considered starting a collection of VHS? No. I'm not getting into VHS, mate. I've got enough as it is. I'm balancing 3 collections at the moment: retro gaming amiibos and vinyl records. I'm not going to start that as well. The mafia on your tail. They are after you for possession of a rare type of cactus. Yeah, I can see the mafia being horticulture. How do you spell that? Horticulture. Yeah, that word, I can't say it, but anyway, horticulture. Horticulturalist. That's it, horticulturalist? I think that's right. Jesus Christ. How do you reason with them to settle the dispute? I'll stab them with a cactus and run for it. That's the best way. Have you ever been into a shop and got one over on the assistant? When I found a GameCube in a charity shop, there were 2 GameCube consoles, and the assistant asked me if they were both included for that price. I said no, just the one. How honest of me. I haven't, mate. I'm too honest. I'm not good at lying as well. They'd see right through me if I tried to bullshit them. So no, I tend to be pretty straightforward. As you know, I watch Cardicus. Oh Christ, here we go again. And his videos, and in his videos, he says that the PlayStation 1 graphics often help a game rather than hinder it. I know you say graphics aren't important, but are there any retro games that you know of that benefit from graphical limitations? That's a weird thing to say, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe all the 2D games because they've only... Jesus. Yeah, maybe all the 2D games because all the 2D games are just going to age well. They're never going to get crap. They're never going to look ugly. The 3D games are the ones that can look a bit ropey. Me personally, I don't think they do. I mean, I can see why people don't like old PlayStation 1 games and the early 3D games because they're quite blocky and the polygons, loads of triangles and everything. But me, I don't know. No matter what system I play on, whether it be an Atari 2600 or a PlayStation 4, for some reason, my brain just accepts what's on the screen and I just play it and enjoy it. And I like the colours and the graphics. So, yeah, I don't really think that's a really interesting question. Yeah, I can't see that any games would actually benefit from graphical limitations other than 2D games just because they're 2D and they're flat and therefore they're not really going to age badly. I recently purchased Cravendale milk and it really is great. It certainly is. It tastes good and it makes considerably good froth for my morning cappuccino. Ever tried it? And if not, would you consider trying it and let me know your thoughts? I used to years ago, mate. I used to drink shitloads of Cravendale and then I eventually stopped drinking it because it was getting too expensive to buy it all the time. And now I just drink long life milk. But yeah, Cravendale's quality. What was the least imaginative generation of consoles in your opinion? In my opinion, the PS3, the Xbox 360 and Wii, because they just seemed more graphical power versions of the consoles they replaced. The most imaginative console was the Wii, but that was crap. The least imaginative. Ooh. It depends on what your reasons are for imagination. As you say, like they were, but then every single console generation is a little bit better graphically. Well, sometimes a lot more. Back in the day, it used to be quite a big leap. I honestly don't know, if I'm honest with you, mate. Yeah, I mean, I honestly can't answer that. I don't think that any of them have lacked imagination because a lot of thought goes into each system when they're released. And yeah, I can't really think of a reason that I would think that they'd lacked imagination. Sorry about that, Keith. Have you ever woken in the night and not know where you are? Not that I can remember, no. What time of year do you eat the most food? Winter, always. Hibernation. And do you do a good impression of a celebrity? If so, please feel free to show us. No, I don't, and hell no. Do you have any hobbies or non-gaming collections we don't know about? Not at the moment, no. You know the main ones, which are film, video games, music, and amiibos. I love them amiibos. Do you floss your toothy pegs? Occasionally. I don't use floss, I use incidentals, which are those little, I don't know what you call it, little plastic things you stuck in between your teeth. The state of your Royal Mail collection centre sounds dire. It is, mate, it's a pain in the arse. I had a brainwave. Why don't you ride your bike? Because it's too bloody far. That's why. It took me about half hour, 40 minutes to get there on my bike. And I've got to chain it up, then I've got to cycle back. I've got to cross a dual carriageway. No, I can't be asked. But you're right, that would be an alternative. It's just easier to just go click on the internet and have it re-delivered. A lifetime supply of strawberries and cream, or the friendship of a turnip farmer and a llama as a pet. Strawberries and cream. Why not? Can't go wrong with that. What one thing are you most looking forward to about Nintendo's future? New leadership. I love Iwata, brilliant guy, but they need new leadership in Japan that is more Western focused and understands Western gaming more and understands modern gaming and the industry that we're actually in now. That's what I would really like to see. And for the NX to be absolutely phenomenal. Like many people probably, I hope the Wii U would fare well in your collection, but sadly not. Sorry, mate. Does anyone that you know of feel shocked you sold it? only you lot on YouTube, that's it. People around me don't give a shit, to be honest. People around me don't care about the gaming full stop, so yeah, it's only you guys that, you know, are bothered by it. Thanks for answering my crazy amount of questions, it's alright. Are there any other YouTubers who also ask a lot of questions in one go? Not as many as you. Sega sent me one at LFC game, I ask a lot of questions, but not in the realms of your questions, so you ask a ton. And the last question is from Keith. Have you ever heard of the great Peter Roberts entrepreneur? I haven't, mate. I have no idea who he is. Sorry about that. Alright, next question is from my good friend Matt, Soul Funk Retro, top bloke, awesome YouTuber. And his question is, does a colour of a console bother you? Do you ever have a preference? Great question that, Matt. I like that one. To be fair, I didn't ever have a preference and it never bothered me up until the PlayStation 3. When the Japanese release of the PlayStation 3 came out in white, I think it was 40 gigabytes. Yeah, the 40 gig white fat PS3 was the turning point where I went, you know what, that is beautiful, I've got to have one of those. So normally it doesn't bother me, but nowadays because of that, if a console comes out in another colour and it's really nice, I can't resist it. I've got a white Xbox One. I had to. The white Xbox One just looks so much nicer than the black one. And it, you know, and I'm not going to do it, but it makes me look at the black PS4 and go, man, I could really do with a white PS4 just to match them up. But yeah, it's really weird. Up until the PS3, I had no interest. It was just, the console was what it looked like and that'll do. Just shove it under the TV and play it. Nowadays, I'm a lot more discerning, and maybe that's because I'm getting older and as well. Cheers, Matt. I like that question. That was good. Dark Ank asks, have you ever thought about getting into Laserdisc collecting? About a year or so, maybe 2 years ago, I did, mate. I gave it a good think, and I was looking around on the net, going on Google and eBay and all this and that and the other. And the only thing that put me off buying Laserdiscs, besides the fact that they were so cheap and I'd end up going crazy and have a room full of the bloody things, was the players themselves, because I understand from what I've read that they're not very good in transportation. They can tend to get damaged, and I wouldn't have a clue how to fix one if it did get damaged. So it's the only thing that's put me off. If there's one in the local area that I could pick up for free, or just pay, no, if it was on Gumtree and paid for it, or Free Cycle, whatever, then yeah, that would be alright because it's easier that way. But yeah, that's the only thing that really put me off, as well as the fact that I've got enough stuff as it is without adding Laserdisc to it, unfortunately. It's a shame because they are really cool. Thanks for the question. Okay, Kieran D212, or D212, not too sure how you say that, Kieran. He says, your attitude towards amiibos are really different from a while back. Just wondering why you're so into them now. To be honest, Kieran, I didn't think it had changed. I mean, I don't know, without going back and watching all my videos and just seeing what my attitude was, but as far as I'm aware, I've always been the same. I might have got a little bit more excited in recent times because they are releasing some amazing amiibo. But yeah, from day one, I've always said that I'm not going to full set this thing. I'm just going to buy the amiibos that I like. And I think they're really cool characters. You know, I only keep them sealed in the box. I collect them, but they look nice on the shelf. So as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm aware, I've never had a change of attitude. I'm sure you can point things out in other videos, but I don't know. But I don't remember anyway, but thank you. Okay. Next set of questions come from LFC Gamer. Thank you, mate. First question. If you had to choose a hairstyle from these three famous people, who would you go for? Beckham, Manson, or Jamie Oliver? David Beckham's had so many different haircuts. I'd go with Beckham because you're on some safe ground there. He has some good haircuts. Marilyn Manson and Jamie Oliver, not so much. Which retro game series what retro game series can you personally not stand that a lot of people love? I was never a fan of Alex Kidd games for Master System, hated the rock, paper, scissors battles, and I don't know why. So which retro game series do I hate that everyone loves? Final Fantasy. I mean, it's still going today, but I just don't get Final Fantasy, I never will. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, I don't get the whole shooter thing a lot of the time. I like shooters. I like occasional playing shooters. But for me, it's not a genre that really blows my mind. A lot of people absolutely go mental for shooters and love them. And I respect that because I love my scrolling beat-em-ups, and not everybody loves scrolling beat-em-ups because they find them quite boring. But yeah, I'm not. Maybe it's just that because with shooters, it's especially the bullet hell shooters. They're really, really hard to play, and you have to have really good hand-eye coordination, which I don't really have that kind of level of hand-eye coordination. But yeah, I wouldn't say I hate them. I just find they just don't really appeal to me as much as other genres. But I would say if there's anything I really can't stand, it's probably going to be Final Fantasy. Do you have any allergic reactions to certain foods? No, not that I know of. What is your favourite Monster Munch? Packet of pickled onion for me any day of the week. Yeah, I'm with you there, mate. Pickled onion ones are the best. I bet you can't get enough of the Stevie Wonder, Pinker and Paul Gascoigne questions. I find them to be the most unusual but entertaining ones. It's like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get. That was what Keith was referring to. Yeah, I don't know how the hell Keith thinks of them or where the idea came from, but they certainly keep me on my toes. Do you hate waiting in the waiting room for an hour? And when the doctor calls you, you're only in there for like 2 minutes. Yeah, there's nothing worse when you're sitting there and you just wait, especially when you've got an appointment and you're looking at the clock and it's going like 10, 15, 20, half an hour, and you're still not in there and you're waiting and waiting and waiting. And especially when you've only got to go in there for a quick, quick 2 minutes. You say you just got to go in there and go, look, this is what's wrong. He goes, okay, this is how we sort it. You go, thank you very much, doc, and out you go. So when you're behind someone who's got like major issues and they're sitting in there talking for hours on end, you're like, oh, come on. And you just see your life ebbing away. Have you ever thought about doing a Q&A outside for the summer? I was going to do this one today. Unfortunately, it's just cooled down a little bit, so it's a bit bleeding cold to be standing out there. The sun's out and it looks beautiful, but yes, when it gets hotter and everything, I will be going outside. Do you remember that god-awful 90s dance hit Sex on the Beach by Teaspoon? I remember it. I'm kind of got it in my head a little bit, so I know it was pretty bad. Yeah, I can hear it, yeah, that's not a good song. What is your least favourite thing about living in Western Supermare? Wow. Nothing really. The only thing I'd say is just it's a bit slow sometimes, and I that's kind of like a double. It's a negative and a positive because I absolutely love the slow nature of living in Somerset. It's just that when you come to buying things in shops, it takes a lot of adjusting because they take their time. It's not like in the city where they're just getting you out the door. They'll have a chat with people. They don't care if there's a queue. They'll just be talking to someone, and then when they finish the conversation, then they'll serve the next person. That can be really weird when you come from a city and you're used to like fast-paced nature of the city life. But that's about it really. But there isn't anything that I really dislike. I love living here. It's a brilliant town. It's a lovely place to live. It's really peaceful, quiet. There's loads of countryside. Cheddar's just up the road. I mean, it's just fantastic, really. The people are really friendly as well. Did you own Sensible Soccer on the Amiga? And if so, did you customise the team? I don't know if I customised the team, but I did own the game. I used to like that. I used to play Sensi Soccer and also Kick-Off as well. Both really great games. So cheers for the question, mate. Appreciate it. Okay, so I got some questions from Crash Test, which always worries me because I don't know what he's going to ask me. But so Rich asks, first question is, Windows 10 would allow Xbox and PC gamers to play together in the Windows environment using Windows gamer tags. Do you think it's a good idea? Yeah, why not? Pretty much, yeah. I don't see a problem with that. Using Windows gamer tags, does that mean that you can't use your Xbox gamer tag? Or is it just that everybody connects to the internet and you can just play with each other? Or if not, do Xbox gamers have to create a brand new Windows account as well, which would be a pain in the arse. But the idea of it being able to link up with PC players, yeah, why not? I think it's a great idea, bring gamers together. I don't give a shit about online plays, it don't affect me, but yeah, great. Would you rather go back to when you first started collecting Super Nintendo games when they were cheap and start the collection again, or have a complete Jap SNES collection? I was actually talking to Retro Dave about this yesterday. I would love to go back and tell myself in 2003, don't lose control, just stick with the Super Famicom. And by now I'd have had an amazing Super Famicom collection because the games were a lot more accessible. I mean, I don't know if they were cheap though, to be fair, because I paid £100 for Final Fight Tough at the time, and I bought 3 copies of that bleeding thing. I didn't pay £100 every time. I've said before, I got one copy for $24 like at the time, which was £12, which was an absolute ridiculous steal. But yeah, if I had just stuck with that and not got diverted, I would have had an amazing collection. And then I could have what I should have done was just collect Super Famicom, get all the games I wanted, and then start a new console, do that one, then start a new console instead of just buying multiple consoles. It doesn't work, not for me anyway. Have you ever thought about doing a YouTube camping trip with other tubers and vlogging it? Not really, Rich, but I'm not a camper. I like it's like a Call of Duty thing. I prefer hotels, mate. I'm not one for sleeping out in the bloody wild. It doesn't do it for me at all. But yeah, hanging out with YouTubers and blogging and having some beers and that, I'm well up for that. And hopefully I'll be able to do that in the future. You mentioned the best times you had gaming with friends online. Sorry about that, guys. Postman just arrived. Packages. Right, back on the question. So, what was Crash Test asking me now? Right, okay, yeah. You mentioned the best times you've had gaming with friends online was playing with friends online, playing Medal of Honor. Have you ever thought of doing this with COD and Battlefield? Did I mention Medal of Honor? I don't know. I think I don't know, Rich. If I did, then I must have got that wrong because I've never played Medal of Honor online. So I don't. Yeah, Call of Duty. I used to play Call of Duty 2 all the time. That's the only one I've ever played online that I've actually had fun with. And yes, I enjoy playing that with friends. And I don't have access to the accounts for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox. I can't afford to have gold accounts and PlayStation account at the moment. But in the future, I prefer to play them with friends because I just get owned otherwise. What is the best way to kill the noisy birds next door? Gas, poison, feed them coffee, which is fatal, is it? Or glue the beaks together? I never knew coffee was fatal. I don't know, I like birds. Depends what kind of birds you're talking about. If you've got like parrots or something, they go on your tits. Where I live, you get loads and loads of different birds flying around, and I really like the sound of it, so it's kind of calming and relaxing. But I mean, to be fair, I'd kill your neighbour before I killed your birds, mate, because your neighbour's a pain in the arse. She's got one hell of a gob on her. Cheers, mate. Alright, okay, and the last question today, guys, is from Craig's here again. Thank you, Craig. And, okay, are there any questions you would love to ask other YouTubers? I don't know, if I'm honest, Craig. That's a really tough one. The first thing that comes to mind is, when is Cybersnake 7 going to stop buying consoles? Because he's just unbelievable, man. It's just like every week he's got a new system coming in, it blows my mind. And he keeps finding new systems that I've not heard of, and I don't know how he does it. It absolutely amazes me. Jay's like such one of the nicest blokes I've ever met. Such a top bloke. It just blows my mind. I wish I could be like that in a way, because he's one of those people that can just buy so many systems and so many games and be completely comfortable with it all. And I just can't do that. I find it impossible, as you've all seen. But yeah, I don't know. That's a really tough question, that, mate, to be honest with you. And now somebody's doing some DIY. Yeah, I'll leave it at that anyway. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for the questions. I really do appreciate everyone asking me a question. If you do have a question for next week's episode, please leave it down in the comments below this video. The cut-off is always next Wednesday. Please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. I'll see you next Friday.